que você busca num ator? O ator, quando começa a ser treinado por você, ele tem que ter algum background anterior, ele tem que ter alguma prática anterior, ou você gosta mais de trabalhar com pessoas que não têm nenhuma experiência?
What do you look for in an actor? For an actor to work with you, does he need background experience? What kind of experience do you look for?
If it's a kid or a dog, they don't have to have any experience. They're natural actors, usually. Yeah, are you talking about as a director when I direct?
Mm-hmm, yes.
Okay.
And as a teacher?
As a teacher, I'll take nearly anybody as long as I don't think they're insane. If they're insane, you know, if they need to be committed to, if they're schizophrenic or something, it's not a good idea. Mm-hmm. Even though those people will occasionally be brilliant for 5 or 10 seconds, just brilliant. They'll have an insight nobody else would have had. But overall, no, and it's dangerous. Mm-hmm. You know, but okay, other than that, I'll take anybody because, and this was Strasberg's idea, you don't know that somebody's going to be great for at least 9 months or so of training. Mm-hmm. At least. You can take somebody who sits in the corner and is very shy and they don't talk above a whisper and they don't seem to have any talent or skill, and they're the one after a year and a half that's the best of them all. And I've seen this happen time and time again. Mm-hmm. So I don't judge people who are auditioning for me on, you know, if they're going to start as a beginner, on, you know, what they did in high school or their first college course, you know, where they're showing off what they think is their talent. Mm-hmm. Because you don't know what their talent is. It's inside at that point. Now, that being said, at a certain point, I want to see that the actors develop physically. If you're not physically connected and know your body very well, you have no business being an actor professionally. It's extraordinarily the most important thing. Otherwise, you're so limited in your expression, and you can't make a continuous connection. And your talent isn't free to be. So that's number one. After that, the actor should have a trained voice. That's difficult because I don't mean the kind of training that makes it artificial. You know, beautiful but artificial. That's no good either. Yeah. It has to be a voice that can do anything. You can play a bum on the street, you can play a king, you can play anything. Mm-hmm. It's a flexible voice. It's a voice that knows how to breathe. Breathing is extraordinarily important in this process. So technically, yeah, they need to be physical and move well. They need to have a discipline, definitely. You know, there's a lot of talented people who have no discipline or very little discipline. I'm not that impressed. I see talented people all the time. You know, there's an expression in New York City. If you throw a stone in New York City on the street, you'll hit 10 talented people. You know, whether they're engineers, designers, artists, actors, photographers. It's rich with talent. Mm-hmm. Who are the ones that succeed? Well, it takes some luck and ambition too, but artistically to succeed, you need an enormous amount of discipline. And you need to be very curious about the world and people. Very curious. This is something Peggy Fury gave me, I mean, it seemed as though she knew everything about history, about art, about costume design, about, you know, what people wore in different periods, about politics, culture, geography, even science, you know, from different parts of the world, like when did windows come into use? This is actually a thing I never knew. I think it was like the 15th or 14th century, and it revolutionized everything. Everybody lived their lives completely different because all of a sudden there were windows. There was glass in windows. Completely, like, what? Did you ever think about that? But if you play somebody prior to that period, they operate differently than somebody after that. Mm-hmm. It just changes everything. You know, so this sort of thing you have to be very curious about as an actor, if you're going to be an artist at it. If you're just going to be a personality, you know, here I am, I'm pretty, or I'm sexy, or I'm evil, or I'm funny, or whatever the hell it is, Okay, that's different. That's not really being an artist. That's just selling your personality. But if you're going to be somebody who tells a story with the characters, you got to be very curious about the world, its history, and all of these things.
E você acredita que artista pode mudar a sociedade?
Do you believe an artist can change society?
Yeah. I'm not sure it's a good idea to go about trying to change society, because it can lead to some very bad art. Polemic art. I think an artist makes a kind of context for the society that people start to open up and start to see things a different way, or feel things a different way, hear things a different way. This makes for minor changes that change this, change that, change the other thing, till, if enough of these artists are there, it does change the culture, it does change the society in some fundamental ways. I think this is very true. I think societies that repress the artist, I think they tend to close up. I think they tend to be all about creature comforts, meaning, food, and not even good food, just food, and territory, very animal. They get very animal. They tend to celebrate sports, not that I love sports, but I mean celebrate sports to such a degree that it becomes almost insane, right? Because it's the one outlet they have for all that energy, because they like pure entertainment. They don't want to receive something in music or in theater or in film or anything else that takes a little bit of participation. They want to sit there and eat junk food, like soap operas and stupid comedies and all of this. I like that stuff too, everybody. It's not that I'm a snob. I do like it, but it should only be like 20 or 30% of the, it shouldn't be 90% like it is in most of the countries now.
E a cultura americana é mais disseminada através desse aspecto, é mais conhecida no mundo por esse aspecto.
And American culture ends up being more disseminated and known around the world exactly through this aspect.
That's right. Mostly. Well, some of it's good art, but not a lot of it. Yeah.
O que você gosta na televisão americana? O que você assiste?
What do you like in American TV? What do you watch?
I think the police shows have gotten great in the last several years. The best writers have gone to them. A lot of good actors, good directors, good stories. So I think shows like The Shield. There was one that is not there anymore. That was probably one of the forerunners. Was Homicide: Life on the Streets. Fantastic acting and writing. I think Eric Overmyer wrote a lot of it, who was a playwright before he wrote for that. I was a regular on Hill Street Blues, which may have been the forerunner of all these, so I'm very proud of that. Yeah, I don't watch much TV, but I find that a lot of those shows are very, very well done. I mean, it's a little too bad they're always about crime and punishment, that there's other aspects to human life, but nevertheless, it does get the best talent, I think, working on it.